Dear students, in this class, I will explain about the definition of a boiler and classification and selection of a boiler. Okay. Now I will share my PPT with all of you. Think you are able to visualize. Okay. Just I will check whether this is being shared or not. Soon share. Right. Okay, now it will be visible to all of you. Right. Okay. At first, we need to know what is meant by boiler. Okay. So in our daily life, we are coming across the word many times. The equipment for producing steam, right? In our house also, we are having a water heater. In general, we are calling that also as a boiler. Okay. But basically, for the industrial purpose, we are having a primary definition. The equipment used to produce steam is called boiler, or you can call direct name steam generator. Okay. So the name itself is indicating it is used for the steam, right? And if you want to have more technical definition, a closed vessel in which steam is produced from water by the combustion of a fuel, right? So naturally, we know very well water is converted into steam by heating. Water will be converted to ice by cooling, right? This already you know, but it will be done in a closed vessel. That means we are taking a vessel of a metallic nature or some other material. Okay, it is a closed vessel. So there you take some water and let the water be converted to steam by combustion of a fuel. So you are supplying the energy, heat energy. So by taking the heat energy, the water will be converted to steam, right? So entire process will be governed by some other factors that we are going to know in future. Okay. So what you will use the steam? What you will do? So steam can be used for power generation, or steam can be used for heating some other elements, and utilization in the industries like chemical industries, sugar mills, right? So you can use the steam in various purposes. Now, the classification. So classification means what are the different parameters we are considering for boilers. So first one is horizontal, vertical, and inclined boilers. So we are having earlier, there is a closed vessel, right? So vessel means in general we are taking the basic shape is cylinder. Okay, so cylinder will have an axis. You know that. Okay, so if the axis with respect to cylindrical shape or with respect to axis, if it is horizontal, right? So axis of the boiler is horizontal, you call it as horizontal boiler. If the axis of the boiler is a vertical or the cylinder is placed vertical, you call it as vertical boiler. Okay. Or if the axis is inclined, you call it as inclined boilers. So like this, you are having different classifications. So we'll see one by one. Now you can see axis is horizontal, call it as horizontal type. If it is vertical, vertical type. If it is inclined, inclined boiler. So you may have some doubt why we are having these different varieties. It depends on your availability. Okay, your availability of space, right? And some other necessary factors may dominate in case of the inclined boiler. Okay, so out of all of these, the parts of the horizontal boiler can be inspected and repaired easily. So a man can enter into the boiler easily in the horizontal boiler, but there is some difficulties in other varieties. And second parameter to classify the boilers is externally fired and internally fired. Externally fired means whatever the fuel combustion that will be outside the boiler shell or the cylinder. Okay. So the one of the example is Babcock and Wilcox. And second variety, in case of the internally fired, so the boiler shell itself will contain the furnace also. So it is internally fired boilers. So one of this example is a Cochrane boiler and Lancashire boiler, which I'm going to show in the next lectures. And next classification parameter is tubes, either fire tube or water tube. Okay. So the name itself is indicating fire in the tube, water in the tube. You remember like this. Okay. Don't be confused with what is fire tube, what is water tube, right? Simply the name itself is I put a dash here. Okay. In the dash, you fill in your mind fire in tube, water in tube, right? So fire tube means fire. How the fire will be inside the tube? It will be hot gases, right? After burning the fuel, whatever the hot gases you have, you pass the hot gases inside the tubes, and the tubes will be surrounded by the water. So automatically there will be heat transfer, water will get heated, right? So one of the example is Cochrane and Lancashire boiler and water tube boiler. That means water inside the tube. So how we can get the heat? Fire will be outside. So water is inside the tube and hot gases surrounded the tubes. So example is Babcock and Wilcox. And next parameter for the boiler classification is natural circulation and forced circulation. So boiler means we are taking the water and we are heating the water, right? Now, if we are making the movement of the water by some other external device called pump, so it is called forced circulation. Suppose we are moving the water with some external device, either manually or by the pump, right? So it is called forced circulation. But what is another thing? Natural circulation. Naturally, in your house, you see, if you take some water in a vessel and put it on the stove, so after some time, you observe how the water is boiling, right? Slowly, slowly, the bottommost part of the water that is gets heated, and some bubbles will come to the upper section. So after some time, you are going to see the movement of the water with your naked eye. The water is moving in a turbulent way. So it is by density difference, right? So the circulation of the water takes place due to the natural convection currents. That means by density difference. If the water gets heated, automatically it will become less dense. So according to the principle, less density items or water molecules will come to the upper section and high density water molecules will come to the lower section. Once the high density water is coming to the lower section, immediately it will get contacted to the heating surface and automatically density will become less. So it is moving continuously until the entire water is boiled, right? Now the next variety is high pressure and low pressure boilers. So there is some differences in the different schools of study. So high pressure boiler that some people are taking, the pressure is more than 80 bar and above are called high pressure boilers, which are less than 80 bar, they are called low pressure boilers. But in some other school of thought, we are having less than 10 bar, you call it as low pressure boiler, and more than 25 bar, you call it as high pressure boiler, and in between 10 to 25, you may call it as medium pressure boiler. Okay. And next one is stationary and portable boilers. The name itself is indicating you very clearly. Stationary boiler means you are fixing the boiler at one place. So it is stationary, you can't move it. And portable. So wherever you desire, you can take it as with a transportation device and you can roll on the rollers, or you can put it in some other trolley and you can move it. Okay. So this is stationary and portable boilers. And the last variety is single tube and multi-tube boilers. So if the fire tube is only one tube, it is called single tube boiler. And If the 5 tubes are more than one, you call it as multi-tube boiler. And after the classification, will make you know how to select the boiler. So, if you are having so many, already I told you earlier, so many classification parameters, but on what basis you are selecting a boiler, right? So, either it is horizontal or vertical or high pressure or low pressure. So, what type I need to select? So, there are some factors from industry point of view. That means if you are the user, from your point of view, there are some difficulties, right? There are some parameters. So, first one is floor area available. So, depends on the space available for you, you need to select, right? So, suppose I am having less floor space available. So, compulsory, I am forced to take vertical tube boiler only, because vertical means the entire area or the volume of the boiler shell will occupy vertically, not horizontally. So, floor area means my horizontal area is limited. So vertically, I can expand, right? And portable load factor, it depends on the energy and erection facilities and the fuel and water availability, accessibility for repair and inspection, comparative initial cost, steam generation rate per minute or per hour will take, and operating and maintenance cost. And the essentials of a good boiler. So out of all the different boilers, like a Cochrane boiler, Lemont boiler, Babcock and Wilcox boiler, locomotive boiler, Lancashire boiler, like so many varieties are there. So you may ask the question, which is good one, right? So out of all of these, even though you are having the characteristic features are the different from one boiler to another boiler, so there are some common parameters by which you can judge which one is good one, which one is working well or not, right? So there are some essential qualities are the boiler should produce a maximum weight of steam of the required quality at minimum expenses. So steam production rate should have less expenses, right? Comparatively. Suppose I am generating 10 tons of steam per hour. So for to produce 10 tons of steam, what is the expense in Lemon boiler? What is the expense in Babcock and Wilcox? Like this, you may have comparison. So which one is having the less expense? That's a good one. Like this, you are giving the ranking. Okay. And we should have easy access to various parts of the boilers for inspection and repairs. And the installation of the boiler should be simple. So more erection time or complexity, it should not be there. And boiler components should be such that they would be transportable from one region to another without any difficulty. Suppose there is some industry and the location is to be transferred to some other area, right? Suppose the industry is running and suppose the government is taking a decision to construct a dam like our Polavaram Dam or some other dam. So the industry is to be relocated. So each and every equipment is to be disassembled and it is to be transported to some other area. Like this, if it is inevitable, the components need to be transportable in an easy way without any difficulty, right? And steam production rate should be as per the requirements and your necessity and the reliability. So reliability will come a very big discussion. So the reliability means basically we are correlating with the quality, right? And it should have to occupy a minimum space. That means already I told you earlier when the floor space is limited, we are taking some conditions, and even then, even if you have the more space availability initially, so the boiler should not occupy larger space so that you can utilize the extra space to some other item. Okay. And the tubes should not accumulate soot and water deposits. So it is one of the difficult problem in the boiler. So we'll discuss about the boiler problems in the coming lectures. Okay. Thank you very much. Uh, this is basic diagram of a boiler. So boiler means fire is to be there, water is to be there, and outlet is to be there. So here it is taking the drain. So and feed water. So feed water means we are sending the water through this tube and the fire tube. So here it is, the fire is being continued, and wherever you are having the chimney, right, this the water is converted into the steam, and through chimney it is going out. The gases are going out, and here the steam is passing through a wall, and this is the dome, right? So the working of the boiler will be explained by taking each and every variety in the coming classes. Okay. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please comment and subscribe. Thank you very much.